Hey everybody. I'm at the dog park on a rather chilly day in west central Ohio. Typical fall weather. Um, Here with the doggo. So this is a bit of a tale of woe. I was trying Fedora 43 KDE version, and KDE and I just don't seem to get along these days. So I'll let you watch the video, which I ended up. I'll let you watch the video. I'll come back at the end. So this is me installing Fedora Linux 43 KDE version on a VM on my laptop. This is a newer web-based installer, and this used to be, I think, the default. This was the installer for just the main Gnome version, and now I guess they've expanded it to the KDE version and the other spins. So this is the installer that you'll get nowadays. It's very straightforward, same kind of, stuff that you normally get. You can see on the left there, it's got the welcome, date and time, installation method, storage configuration, create an account, then review and install. And when it gets to the installation part, we'll fast forward through it. Because you're just looking at things twirling for, 5 or 10 minutes. You can enable the root account. It's usually recommended not to, just for security. Your user does have elevated permissions using sudo, so for any stuff that you need to do on the terminal, you can still do. So we're going to fast forward through this, and this actually, it seemed to take longer than usual for me. Now, I'm not sure if that was because it's in a VM. I don't use VMs that much, but it seems like it took longer than I was expecting. I would normally expect this to take maybe 5 to 8 minutes. It seemed like it took 10 to 12 minutes, maybe. I didn't time it, unfortunately, but it did seem to take longer than normal. Anyway, so we're getting close to finishing up. Exit to the live desktop. And you just go ahead and restart, and then you have your installation completed. And as I said, this isn't a VM, but when we start up, I put it in the VM so I could record this, but when it starts up, later we're going to have it actually on the laptop itself. So I will install it on my hardware. So we restart. Log in, and we get to the welcome screen. So this is Fedora 43 KDE version. And there we go. So next time, it'll be on my actual laptop hardware. So here I am in Fedora 43 workstation KDE version. And I've been running this on my actual laptop. I blew up my last installation, and I'm now running it on my hardware, AMD Ryzen powered laptop. And I've been running it for about a day. I've changed a couple of things. This is not the default wallpaper. I installed the Brave browser, a couple of other apps I set up here, and started using Kmail as my email client on here. And so far, everything is going well. I was a little surprised to see that it is not using KDE Plasma 6.5, which I thought was kind of weird. I thought, because it has the current, kernel version is up to date, 6.17.5, but it is using the KDE Plasma 6.4.5, not 6.5, which I thought was kind of odd. So no doubt that'll be forthcoming. We'll see here. But normal KDE stuff. I find with KDE, I see what they did. They did the little enlarged pointer thing from Mac. That's cool. Neat. I did noticed a few years ago on Mac, if you lose the pointer on the screen, which sometimes happens when you have, old eyes like me, if you wiggle the mouse around, the pointer gets big, and KDE does that automatically. That's nice. Point to KDE. One thing I was going to say is, and I struggle to put this into words, and I don't know if I'm just making it up in my own head. I find usually I use Gnome or Cinnamon for the desktop. I tend not to use tiling window managers. I just use regular sort of desktop environments. KDE to me seems, I don't want to, it's not unfinished or sloppy. It seems kind of thrown together, in the sense that it's not, I don't doubt there's a lot of work. I mean, it works well enough. There's a lot of effort went into it. It seems a little not coherent. Whereas something like Mac OS looks, and I have said before, I don't particularly like using Mac OS, but Mac OS seems to be very consistent throughout its, its UI, as does Gnome and even Cinnamon. And I'm not banging on, KDE. I'm just saying, to me, KDE seems a little less like cohesive, but that's maybe just me. Anyway, I did install some apps. I've got Brave browser on here. Firefox was the default. OBS, obviously, that's where I'm recording. Audacity, Kdenlive, and I started using Kmail here as my email client. I get Remina on here. I did notice that with KDE, I did have to futz around a little bit because of the open codec situation. I did enable third-party repositories on KDE, but I had actually accidentally installed Kdenlive from a RPM repository, and I had to go back. I was getting an error when I started up. It was missing a codec, and I futzed around, and I just installed the Flatpak version, which is what this is, and it obviously works fine. So one thing I noticed on here, and I don't know if this is new for this version, I'd seen it on another distro, and I thought, oh, that's kind of cool, where they had started actually allowing you to use a fingerprint reader for like your admin password. And that does that here too, which is kind of nice. So if you go to, I think it's users, I already set up one of my fingerprints here. So if you go here, down here, to configure fingerprint authentication, you can actually pick which finger you want. So I already did my index finger, so you can pick which finger or thumb you want, and then just go ahead and scan it. It seems to work fine. I've used it a couple of times already. It's just getting used to being able to do that is kind of weird. But like if I go to, let's see, firewall, for example. So now obviously you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm touching my fingerprint here, and boom. There you go. Pretty cool. It also works for login, the initial login. So that's kind of nifty. So far so good. As I said, I will keep this going for a few days and report back after that, but looking good up till now. So this is later in the day at the dog park. This is the afternoon. And very strange situation. So I've been having trouble editing in Kdenlive with Fedora 43 in the KDE environment. Memory would keep filling up, which has never happened to me before, and the system would basically lock up. You'd have to restart. It seemed to be also doing it with other things, because I was trying to format a USB drive to install the GNOME version of Fedora, to try that. I was finally able to do that, got it booted up into the GNOME version. it was able to keep my my home folder, so the settings and stuff were still there. I tried Kdenlive again and got the same thing. It was filling up the memory again. So I looked online and saw there was some reference to that, but it was unclear if it was a Fedora 43 problem or a Kdenlive problem. I'm probably going to try and wipe the Kdenlive data and try it again. If that doesn't work, I'll probably have to use Shotwell or something to finish up the video, or I may just re-image it with something else to do that. So I don't know what's going on. I'm not that upset, man. It's just weird. I've never had this amount of trouble with Linux, so whatever. Anyway, we'll see if we can get it loaded up and finish this up. So, okay, cheers. So here we are in Gnome, Fedora 43 Gnome version. I have top running, and I've got a recorder going here also. So it's using 2455, 2462. You see the RAM here. So let me start up Kdenlive. And I discovered you don't actually have to do anything in Kdenlive for it to start going crazy. So we started up 32, 34, 35, 36, 38. It's just gobbling up the RAM. And it'll keep doing that till the system, slows down and stops. It'll fill up the actual RAM, then the swap file, and so I'm going to stop it here because everything will grind to a halt here, but it'll just keep going. So I don't know what that is. I've used this now in Fedora 43, the KDE version, with KDE 6.41 or 6.45 and KDE 6.5.1, and also with now Gnome 49, and it's doing the same thing. I've tried it with and without proxies, the RPM version, the Flatpak versions, both from the Fedora repository and the Flatpak hub. And it's doing the same thing on every, try cleaning out the Kdenlive data. It's doing the same thing. So I don't know what's going on. It's weird. But I'm finishing up this video with Shortcut. And that's why the video is a little janky. Because I don't know really how to use Shortcut. I'm probably going to end up reinstalling Linux. I'll probably put Cachy OS on there or something. And give that a whirl. But I just wanted to let you guys know something. I don't know if it's me. I'm assuming it's me because I saw something online about this, but it doesn't seem to be a widespread problem. So I don't know. I'm assuming it's just me. Something weird is going on, and we'll just chalk that up to a bad experience. But anyway, don't let this put you off using, Fedora 43 necessarily, but just word to the wise, I guess. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. Sorry this was so long and so complicated and confusing, but that's what my day's been like. So take care. Bye-bye. So that's another video in the can. If you found this informative or interesting, please consider liking and subscribing down below. And remember, be excellent to each other.